जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम डियर स्टूडेंट्स, कैसे हैं आप? ठीक हैं, मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ आप खैरियत से होंगे। आज फिर मैं बहुत ही अहम टॉपिक्स जो आइट स्पीकिंग पार्ट 1 के हवाले से हैं वो आपके साथ डिस्कस करने जा रहा हूँ। तो मैं आपका बिल्कुल ज़्यादा वक्त नहीं लूँगा, तो आइए हम अपने पहले टॉपिक की तरफ चलते हैं। तो हमारा पहला टॉपिक है पेन्स और पेंसिल से रिलेटेड। सो डू यू यूजुअली यूज़ अ पेन और पेंसिल? So I mostly use pen because I have to write articles, I have to write formal letters. So mostly I prefer writing with pen. There may be some occasions when I also write with a pencil, because pencil, you know that when you find that you have written something wrong, you may erase it with the rubber. So which do you prefer, a pen or a pencil? As I already told you, I prefer a pen because I want to write fast and I want to write smoothly. So I think with a pen, I really feel at ease to write smoothly. And also, as I have to write mostly the formal letters or formal articles, so I prefer to write with a pen. When was the last time you bought a pen or pencil? I think just 2 days ago I bought a pen, and most often I buy a pen once or twice in a week. As I am a teacher, so I have to write a lot, and I mostly prefer to write with a pen. How would you feel if someone gave you a pen as a gift? I would love it, as I like to have pens. As a pen is a kind of thing which is very much part of my life. As I am a teacher, so I write a lot. So I really need a pen in my day-to-day activities. So let us go to the next topic. And our next topic is numbers. Do you often use numbers to do something? Indeed. Numbers are very much part of our day to day lives. So, whenever I count something, I use numbers. Whenever I call the rolls of my students, I use numbers. So, numbers are very much part of our lives. Are you good at memorizing numbers? Not as much as I used to be in my childhood, in my boyhood. Now, as I am grown up, it's very difficult for me to memorize numbers. What is your favorite number? My favorite number is 5, and I believe that 5 is my lucky number. Would you like to have a job dealing with numbers? Oh, not really, because I am a student of history, literature, and language. So I rarely use these numbers during my academia, during my academic learning, or during my teaching, because mostly I speak on different essays, different question answers, and also some such kind of stories that are related to literature or language. So don't use, I won't like to do a job dealing with the numbers, and I know that I will be soon fed up with that job if at all I am offered, if at all I do such job. So let us go to the next topic, and this is history. When you were a child, did you enjoy learning history? Yes, I did. But to tell you the truth, I didn't learn history from the history subject. In my schooling, I was offered the subjects such as social studies and also the language, our official language, Urdu. So I came across a few stories, few events that were related to history. And I also learned history in the subject social studies. And to tell you the truth, I enjoyed history a lot because I used to read about the past stories. As we know that mostly the stories are related to past and history. So I was so curious to read about history. Have you ever been to a museum to learn about history? Yes. When I was in my secondary school exam and our teachers took all the class to the Museum of Lahore, which is known as Lahore Museum. And we saw so many things in the museum, like the old swords, weapons, and also the utensils, the pots, and also different tools that were used by the past people. I also saw the bones of some animals, species that have been extincted from the face of the earth. Have you ever watched movies related to history? Yes. Many times I have watched movies related to history. As I already also done masters in European history apart from masters in other subjects. So I like to watch History Channel. I like to watch the documentaries based on the events of the history. So I love to watch about history. When was the last time you read a book about history? I think 1 year ago, I think, if I am not wrong, I read a book about history. But I quite often I read about history. But as the question is related to a book that I read about history, so it was 1 year ago. But most often I read essays and I also read the articles related to history. Do you think history is important? Indeed, history is very important subject, and especially it is the history subject that tells us about the events of the past, how past people used to live, how they tackled with the odd circumstances, how they invented different kinds of things, what difficulties or hardships they faced, how did they overcome them. And I would say all cascades of, if I speak metaphorically, all cascades of knowledge ultimately becomes part of the ocean known as history. तो ये कुछ टॉपिक्स थे जो मैंने मुनासिब समझा कि आपके साथ डिस्कस करूं, क्योंकि नॉर्मली जब आप अपनी लर्निंग कर रहे होते हैं तो आप हो सकता है कि ऐसे क्वेश्चन से आपको एज सच वास्ता ना पड़े, तो इनको डिस्कस करना उस इस लिहाज से मैं समझता हूँ कि बहुत ज़रूरी था। तो अगेन, जैसा कि मैं हर वीडियो के आखिर में कहता हूँ कि मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा कि मेरे चैनल को लाइक करें, मेरी इस वीडियो को लाइक करें, मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और इस वीडियो को शेयर करें और बेल आइकन के बटन को प्रेस करें, जिससे ये होगा कि मेरी नेक्स्ट आने वाली वीडियोस के बारे में आपको नोटिफिकेशन मिलेगा। तो अपना ढेर सारा ख्याल रखिएगा। अल्लाह हाफिज़।